And we have liftoff.
May the force be with us.
If you're a fan of superhero movies, you probably know that the late 90s and early 2000s were a busy and game-changing time. Sure, there had been superhero movies for about as long as there had been movies, period. I'm looking at you, 1920s The Mark of Zorro. But up until the turn of the century, they were pretty cheesy. This all changed in 1998 with the release of Blade, with 2000's X-Men and 2002's Spider-Man hot on its heels. The Marvel Comics-inspired movies set a new standard for aesthetics and tone of superhero films. At that same time, another superhero movie came out. It was expensive, aesthetically ambitious, and even featured an entire team of superheroes working together, which is a formula that would lead to some of the most profitable movies in history in the coming decades. The movie I'm talking about is Mystery Men. Featuring a roster of well-known and beloved actors, Mystery Men tells the story of a ragtag group of dubiously powered protectors living in a hero-crazed world where the satire and laughs are as plentiful as the punches and kicks. Looking back, it seems like exactly the kind of movie that might be a big hit today, given how superhero-saturated our culture is. So why did Mystery Men fail? Was it before its time? Would things have been different had it come out in 2008 or 2018? We can play the what-if game all day. And frankly, this is the internet. Let's fork and do it. Here's everything you didn't know about Mystery Men. Mystery Men premiered on August 6th, 1999, coming in at 6th place in the box office, behind The Sixth Sense, The Blair Witch Project, Runaway Bride, The Thomas Crown Affair, and Deep Blue Sea. It cost around $70 million to make and grossed less than half that over the course of its run, just over $33 million worldwide. In other words, a big flop. But like other movie flops in film history, it built a cult following, and most of us still love it.
You said my hat Captain Amazing?
Similar to most other superhero movies, Mystery Men was based on comics. Mystery Men was inspired by the pages of the Dark Horse comic series Flaming Carrot and the Mystery Men. But unlike X-Men or Spider-Man, which drew closely on the characters and story of their comics, Mystery Men took extremely wide liberties with its source material. For one thing, the titular Flaming Carrot is nowhere to be found in Mystery Men. So, who are the Mystery Men? There's Mr. Furious, a man whose power comes from his immense anger. Okay, he's more angry than powerful, I guess. There's the Shoveler. Guess what he does?
God gave me a gift. I shovel well. I shovel very well.
There's the Blue Raja, a hero apparently inspired by the manner and tools of fine dining.
If you're going to eat cake, you ought to use a fork.
Bowler, who uses the bowling ball encapsulated skull of her dead father as a projectile. Spleen, a man with supernaturally bad gas. And Invisible Boy, who can only turn invisible when no one is watching.
I'm invisible! I really do have superpowers!
Maybe you should put some shorts on or something if you want to keep fighting evil today.
Together they attempt to fight crime and are consistently overshadowed by the cocky, fame-hungry, and cynical Superman of their home city, Captain Amazing.
Could I get some ice? Had a little mishap defending justice over the nursing home tonight.
Oh, I thought I heard on TV that was Captain Amazing.
But when Captain Amazing falls victim to his own self-aggrandizing schemes and ends up a prisoner of the villainous Casanova Frankenstein, best name ever, it's really good, it's up to the Mystery Men to find a cliché machine of a mentor named the Sphinx.
Criminy, you're the Sphinx, and you are fools.
And a mad scientist weapons inventor to save the day.
Doctor, you are a genius.
That's what the card says.
It's worth taking a moment to celebrate the style of this movie too. The fictional Champion City where the movie takes place is a dystopia that draws heavily on the visuals of movies like Blade Runner, Terry Gilliam's Brazil, and dare I say it, the Super Mario Bros. Movie. And something has to be said for the bygone scale of a studio comedy like this. Take this scene, for example, that introduces the Mystery Men and their incompetence.
Thrower! Not today, my vermilion-eyed valet.
Back in the day, kids, when you wanted to shoot a scene with lots of people in costumes, you actually had to hire a ton of actors and put them all in weird costumes. And actually beyond that, look at all the gizmos, elaborate sets, although technically Mystery Men did reuse some sets from Batman Forever and Casper, but still, those are very elaborate and complicated practical effects. And that's all in the service of a movie that goes for every single joke, all of them.
Superhero needs a supervillain, and thanks to you, we've got none left.
Then get the Deathman.
Deathman is dead.
Characterizing Mystery Men is tough though. It's a superhero movie, and it's got comedy and action, but it's also not quite an action comedy in the way that term is used today, at least. You could argue that Marvel makes action comedies. There's humor sprinkled in all their movies, and the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise and Thor Ragnarok are more uniformly comedic. But in those movies, the jokes keep the story moving, whereas in Mystery Men, the story kind of serves the jokes.
Oh, I see. How delightfully eccentric.
And to that extent, Mystery Men has less in common with superhero action comedies of today, and more in common with another late 90s satirical comedy we all know and love, Austin Powers.
Yeah, baby, yeah!
Austin Powers and Mystery Men each used an established genre. In the case of Austin Powers, it was early James Bond movies, as a canvas for total absurdity.
Who does number 2 work for?
That's right, buddy. You show that turd who's boss.
And Austin Powers was a huge hit. So what gives? What happened here? Maybe Austin Powers becoming an iconic franchise and Mystery Men fading away was about context. When Austin Powers came out, there was lots of nostalgia for the style and silliness of the 1960s. But Mystery Men was more reacting to a recent superhero history that was tired and maybe even tiresome. Movies like Meteor Man, The Phantom, Spawn, even the Batman sequels, weren't exactly big box office draws or huge cultural events. So it may have been hard to get people enthused about a comedy referencing tropes audiences had kind of gotten bored of. But the thing is, Mystery Men is really funny and does some really interesting things to invert our superheroic expectations. In the darkest and also maybe funniest moment of the movie, the Mystery Men accidentally incinerate Captain Amazing while trying to free him. You know, lethally botching their main objective and murdering the city's version of Superman. Which doesn't even take into account the constant hilarity of the Mystery Men pretty much, mostly, not actually really being superheroes at all. Did I say that?
I'll forgive you if you forget.
But what they lack in super strength and telekinesis, they make up in heart and humor. When you watch Mystery Men, you feel like people are trying really hard to make you smile. Does the prop skull inside Bowler's bowling ball look about as realistic as something I made in 9th grade art class? Sure does. Does a character with his feet in 2 watermelons make me laugh?
I don't remember telling you to do that.
Yeah, naturally, of course, it does. Will a movie with Smash Mouth's All-Star in it always win my love? You're damn right it will. That's a good song, but also a very silly song. The Flaming Carrot and the Mystery Men comics that inspired the movies were created by Bob Burden and produced in the 70s and 80s. As we mentioned, the connection between the comics and the movies isn't strong. The only characters that made the jump from the page to the screen were Mr. Furious, Shoveler, and the Spleen. Bob Burden did come up with the idea for Invisible Boy, though, as a drunken joke. While heavily intoxicated at a Hollywood party, never heard of that, but I guess sometimes it happens, Burden suggested a character who's only invisible when no one's looking at him, and the producers liked the idea so much that they used it. Universal Studios produced the movie. Lawrence Gordon was the lead producer. Gordon has a lot of big-time action movies to his credit, including Die Hard, Point Break, and Predator. I've never heard of any of them. Who is this guy? And what are those movies? Just kidding, those are all a very big deal. He was also an executive producer on Boogie Nights, which might help explain why there's a number of actors in common between that film and Mystery Men. Producer Mike Richardson represented Dark Horse Entertainment, the comics-adjacent company that was developing Dark Horse properties into movies. Richardson also created Time Cop and was involved in bringing The Mask from Dark Horse's pages to the screen.
Okay.
Neil Cuthbert wrote the screenplay. Official credit-wise, Cuthbert didn't have a long career, but he does have the sole credit on Mystery Men as well as a full credit on Hocus Pocus. The box office failure of Mystery Men, followed by his next and last writing credit on Eddie Murphy's Adventures of Pluto Nash, which grossed $7.1 million on a $100 million budget, probably didn't help him land any subsequent screenwriting jobs, even if these things aren't totally a writer's fault. Writers are underappreciated. It's hard, there's marketing campaigns, there's whatever. Kinka Usher directed the movie. It was the only feature film that he would ever make. Usher was otherwise a big-budget commercial director. He's directed commercials for Taco Bell, including the Yo Quiero Taco Bell ads.
Yo quiero Taco Bell.
As well as work for Got Milk? Remember that? Nike, Nissan, Miller Beer, Polaroid, and Pepsi, which is also Captain Amazing's most cherished corporate sponsor.
And is it true that you lost your Pepsi endorsement?
I hadn't heard that.
Usher purportedly hated the scale and stress of feature directing work and went back to directing commercials after Mystery Men. Outside of commercial work, Usher is known for a period of work with legendary film producer Roger Corman. So many iconic directors like Coppola, Scorsese, James Cameron are known for their early work with Corman, but those iconic connections seemed to winnow as the 20th century wound down. Who would direct Mystery Men was an open question at one point. Ben Stiller was briefly considered, but turned it down, which was probably a wise move given the more generally profitable career Stiller subsequently had as an actor. Danny DeVito also briefly considered directing the movie. He would have also played the shoveler. Steven Warbeck composed the music for the film. He won an Oscar for his work on Shakespeare in Love. Very different films. Then there's the cast. Love Mystery Men or not, you have to marvel at the comedy dream team this movie assembled. Hank Azaria played Blue Raja. Azaria is also known for The Birdcage and Friends, and most importantly, for a million memorable voices on The Simpsons.
Yup, they called me Kid Gorgeous. Later on, it was Kid Presentable. Then Kid Gruesome. And finally, Kid Mo.
Did you notice Blue Raja says Professor Frink's catchphrase when he sits on a fork? That's because Frink is one of Azaria's characters. Janeane Garofalo played Bowler. She's an SNL alum, played a major role on The Larry Sanders Show, has done voice acting on shows and films like King of the Hill and Ratatouille, and Wet Hot American Summer, one of the greatest comedies ever made, would be nothing without her, and I stand by that wild statement.
You guys aren't supposed to be out of your bunks. You're in trouble.
William H. Macy played Shoveler. He's a highbrow movie mainstay with roles in Paul Thomas Anderson movies and his Oscar-nominated performance in the Coen brothers' Fargo. You might know him from getting like a million Emmy nominations for Shameless. He even got to show a little of his artier flair in Mystery Men when Shoveler gives an inspirational speech inspired by the St. Crispin's Day speech from Shakespeare's Henry V.
We're all in over our heads and we know it. But if we take on this fight, those of us who survive it will forever after show our scars with pride and say, that's right, I was there. I fought the good fight. So what do you say? Do we all gather together and go kick some Casanova butt?
I see you theater nerds. Come on, you know that. Oh, for Muse of Fire, but it's not. That's a different one. It doesn't matter. Kel Mitchell played Invisible Boy. He's, of course, half of the comedy wonderkin duo Kenan and Kel, and dearest to my heart is his role as Ed in Good Burger. What can I say? I like flying with fast food.
I'm flying with fast food!
Woo! Paul Reubens played the Spleen. He's best known as Pee Wee Herman, though he's also done a ton of genre voice acting work for DC cartoons.
I'm Batmite, and those powers belong to me! Give them back now!
And I personally love him as Emlyn in Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Admit it, Buffy. Aren't there times when you just feel less than fresh?
Ben Stiller played Mr. Furious. In the credits, he gets a somewhat low billing despite probably being the most famous person in the movie, but we have to remember that in 1999, he was still more of an indie guy, best known for movies like Reality Bites, which he directed, and Flirting with Disaster. Mystery Men came out just after There's Something About Mary, which introduced him to a higher tier of comedy stardom. And the early 2000s sealed the deal with Meet the Parents and Zoolander.
Did you ever think that maybe there's more to life than being really, really, really ridiculously good looking?
Wes Studi played the Sphinx. Studi has been a working actor for decades with some genre cred from his work on Penny Dreadful, But he's best known for his prestige movies like The Last of the Mohicans and Dances with Wolves. Studi is Cherokee, and his portrayal of nuanced Native American characters have gone a long way to help break down awful stereotypes in Hollywood. Studi will also be receiving an honorary Academy Award this year. Greg Kinnear played Lance Hunt / Captain Amazing. We love Kinnear best as the less than super successful motivational speaker dad from Little Miss Sunshine. Nice that he got to play someone more respected here. Jeffrey Rush played Casanova Frankenstein. He's a Shakespearean actor, art house mainstay, and an Oscar winner. But genre-wise, he's best known as Barbossa in Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Get back on your bloomin' cockroaches!
Eddie Izzard played Tony P. He's a comedian with a long and varied career known for showing off, which is as much on display in Mystery Men as it has been subsequently in Hannibal and across the universe. Tom Waits is Doc Heller, the weapons expert. Waits acts sometimes, but he's best known as an amazing musician. If you play Come On Up to the House, I Will Cry. Stop, that's mean. Why do you want to make me cry?
A canned tornado, huh?
Totally non-lethal, but totally effective.
In Mystery Men, you might notice Doc Heller has his hands in front of his face a lot. This wasn't just a kooky affectation. Waits had trouble memorizing his lines, so he wrote them on his hands. Ooh, cool trick. There are also some big names in these smaller parts and cameos here. Ricky Jay plays Captain Amazing's publicist, who remarks,
"Look, I'm a publicist, not a magician."
But in fact, Jay was one of the greatest magicians and historians of conjuring the world has ever known. As an actor, he appeared in several Paul Thomas Anderson movies, Tomorrow Never Dies and Deadwood. Dane Cook and Doug Jones flash by as wannabe superheroes in the tryout montage. Neither was famous at the time, but Cook would go on to be a hugely popular comedian. Bees, remember that? That was his thing. I think. The whole Goody Mob, including CeeLo Green, cameos as the not-so-Goody Mob. And Praz from hip-hop group The Fugees played Eddie Izzard's partner, Tony C. But the most curious cameo of all, I think, belongs to Michael Bay as an evil frat bro.
On the frat boys, still on probation for lethal hazing.
Bay doesn't exactly cameo very much, and we weren't able to confirm this, but our guess is that he knew director Kinka Usher from the world of commercial directing, where Bay has done a lot of work outside his feature filmmaking. In this series, we like to devote some time to talking about media related to our main topic, whether it's comics, video games, toys, or more, but sadly, there isn't much to say on this topic for Mystery Men. Fans can, of course, enjoy the Dark Horse comics, but those are so different that they don't quite provide the same satisfaction of experiencing an extended universe that other properties-related media does, although you should still check them out. In our research, we found one and only one fan site devoted to Mystery Men, a Web 1.0 relic with some crushed hopes of a revival and some fan fiction. Who knows, maybe one day Mystery Men will be rediscovered, but let's end by celebrating Mystery Men for the risks it took, even if it didn't fully pay off. The movie did its own thing with unfamiliar and brand new characters, and if it isn't perfect, that's the risk you take when you cover new ground.
Keep up the good work.
Compare that to superhero movies today, which, while great, we all agree we all like them a lot, are, somewhat risk-averse in their production and distribution, you could say. Mystery Men showed us deeply flawed heroes in order to make us laugh, and that was a fresh idea in 1999. And it's paying off in a big way for other properties right now. Just look at The Boys or One Punch Man, which are doing pretty much the same thing and have big fan bases. Maybe there's another story where Mystery Men came out later and was celebrated more for what it did.
Wow. All my life, I've been ignored by people. And finally, after years of being overlooked, I found I had the power to disappear.
We'll never know, but we can still enjoy the movie for what it is, a good time. But what do you think about Mystery Men? Do you like it? Hate it? Not remember it? That could be. If that's the case, I'd go watch it. But if you'll excuse me, I have to go shovel well. Did you guys like finding out everything you didn't know about Mystery Men? Well, you're in luck, because we have new episodes every week, and you can
every other week.
Don't correct me. It sickens me. But we do have episodes every other week, and you can watch our old episodes by clicking in the appropriate place on the screen. You know where that is.